Good morning. I'm Jen Amos at Weiss Research.
I'm Andy Myers, and this is your morning market update for Wednesday, August 24th. Stocks on Wall Street have rebounded from earlier lows, but they're still modestly lower following 2 days of gains. The market is being helped by a 4% jump in durable goods orders last month, much bigger than economists were expecting. The increase was mainly due to higher demand for autos and commercial aircraft. Vehicle orders surged 11.5%, their biggest gain in more than 8 years. And a big uptick in orders at Boeing drove bookings for commercial aircraft more than 43% higher. However, excluding those segments of the economy, orders for other durable goods rose just 0.7%, and a closely watched number within the report, core capital goods, fell 1.5%. Those readings indicate that broad segments of the economy remain weak, manufacturing in particular.
Despite today's modest losses, it's the bulls that seem to be holding sway on Wall Street this week. They're looking forward to a speech by Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke in Jackson Hole, Wyoming this Friday. At last year's gathering of international central bankers and economists, Bernanke indicated that the Fed would embark on a second round of quantitative easing to boost the economy and asset markets. Many investors are hoping for a similar announcement this year. But surveys show that analysts think the Fed chief will stop short of announcing a QE3 program or other specific plans. Despite the optimism on Wall Street this week, the major stock averages still haven't recouped all their losses from last week, and the market is still down sharply for the month.
We're seeing some reaction to this morning's economic data from the other asset markets as well. The durable goods report seems to have piqued investors' appetite for risk. They're pushing oil prices back near $86 a barrel. At the same time, traders are moving out of assets perceived as safer, including U.S. Treasuries. The yield on the benchmark 10-year note is closing in on 2.2%. Meanwhile, gold is falling further from its recent record high, now trading around $1,840 an ounce. And checking in on the currency markets, the dollar is falling against most of its major rivals, including the yen and the euro. That's despite a downgrade of Japanese government debt by Moody's Investor Service and an extremely weak reading of German business sentiment this morning.
On the corporate front, we're seeing solid gains from two big-name stocks this morning. Sprint Nextel is jumping nearly 2%, following a report in the Wall Street Journal that it will begin selling the new version of the Apple iPhone. Sprint reportedly will also start selling the iPhone 4 in mid-October. Currently, Apple only has agreements with AT&T and Verizon. But the deal with Sprint should help the number 3 wireless carrier compete with its two larger rivals. However, it may also help AT&T win regulatory support for its proposed acquisition of T-Mobile USA, the number 4 U.S. carrier. Finally, keep an eye on shares of CVS Caremark today. They're gaining 1.5% after the company announced a new $4 billion stock buyback program. The largest U.S. drugstore chain also said it will complete an earlier $2 billion program before the end of the year. That's the latest from Weiss Research. Have a great trading day.